All right.
So Hunter chilling this year, the Queen Quet one more again coming to Hunter from Navassa, North Kakalaki, right across the river from Wilmington. Now, why just come up here for find out how we people are do up here? So now a lot of you who follow us on Facebook, you know that we were posting about the displacement of a lot of people due to Hurricane Florence. Well, we're just finding out it's over 1,000 people that are renters that have been displaced, and a lot of those people are our people, okay, that have been displaced because, of course, the homes got flooded, but then because they don't own the homes, they can't get FEMA support. So now we're dealing with the ones who do own homes, and you just told me a term called muck out.
A muck out.
Tell me again, what is this muck out?
A muck out is when somebody's house is flooded.
Yeah.
And you have to get that bad stuff out of there before the black mold gets in.
Right.
So you're going to sit there and you're going to tear out all the drywall, all the floors, whatever has been damaged, so that way you can treat it with an antimicrobial and kill the actual mold. A lot of folks think that, you know, if I put bleach on it, it'll kill
that'll
it.
do it.
Bleach is not going to kill mold. It'll
Gotcha.
get the mold to go away, but the mold's still there.
But it's still there.
But there's antimicrobials that can be treated that will actually kill the mold, and that's what you do. And you got to get down to like the
bare,
wood, the bare
all the way
wood.
down strip.
Right.
So if you got carpet, get it up out of there.
You got to get the carpet, the
insulation, all that
linoleum,
out.
all that stuff out.
Wow.
Okay? And so we've had teams from United Methodist.
I actually am.
United Methodist, Brunswick Baptist Association, and other organizations have been helping folks
with that
throughout Navassa and all of Brunswick County, as well as some folks on the other side of the river are also helping folks over there. So all people had to do was sign up, and then we're just going by a list.
By the list, and then trying to get in.
And people, you know, groups are coming and volunteering. When Hurricane Michael hit,
that's what I wanted.
It took a lot of the people who were coming from all of these big organizations away. Rightfully so. I mean, they had a category 4.
Right.
So now we're having to get people internal to the state.
Right.
That
to
are
help.
That are coming, like from the western part of the state or from Raleigh.
Right, to come to the coast.
Charlotte, right, to help out because everyone else is down in Florida trying to help out.
Trying to help, yeah, because with everything back to back to back to back.
Correct.
So now tell me this. So now you started to talk a little bit about the insurance situation, though, for the ones who own homes. What's going on there? Because a lot of people understand how complex this thing gets.
Well, you know, a lot of folks here, a lot of our folks have inherited their homes.
Right.
They own their homes outright. So they may or may not have insurance. So that's strike one, okay?
Right.
So now if your house flooded and roof fell off or roof's been damaged,
that's on you.
That's on you, okay? Now, let's suppose you did have insurance. Most people know about homeowners insurance.
Right.
Okay? Well, on the coast, homeowners insurance will cover you in a fire.
Right, and not wind or water.
Wind or water,
right.
That's a different, those are riders.
Those are riders that have to get at it.
You gotta have wind and hail, that's more insurance. And then you got to have flood. That's more insurance. Okay?
If they let you get it based on where your house is located, right?
I got to tell you, a whole lot of houses that flooded aren't in floodplains.
They're not.
They're not. But most people, and because they're not in floodplains,
they didn't buy flood insurance.
They didn't have to buy flood insurance. So, you know.
So they didn't. Because they wanted to save their money.
Hello.
Right. Okay. And so now is the day that they wish they had.
So now if they didn't have wind and hail and they lost their roof or shingles or whatever, that's on them. Right. If they didn't have flood and it flooded, that's on them again. Right. If they did have those things, on page 23 or 24 of your very long policy, you're going to find out there's something called a named storm.
Okay.
When you're in a named storm, your deductible is not like $500 or $1,000.
Oh, really?
No, it's 1 or 2% of the assessed value of your home.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No.
So that means if you have $100,000 home, but you're used to paying, let's say, a $300 deductible, $500 deductible.
It's now $1,000.
It's now $1,000.
Correct.
And is that in addition to the other deductible, or that's just the total deductible?
That's your deductible for, let's say, wind and hail.
Right.
Okay. If you had flood, that's a whole nother one.
So that means if y'all don't get that, that means you got to come out of pocket that $1,000 before the insurance will kick in with anything, and that's if you have that.
Correct.
Insurance anyway. That rider and insurance anyway.
So, you know, a whole lot of folks, plus the people need to remember, for 2 weeks people couldn't get around. We were like a little island. We were a little island. No one could get in, no one could get out. So that meant nobody went to work.
Right.
So
now
if you were living paycheck to paycheck, you missed the pay period because that's 2 weeks.
That's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Right.
So now you missed the pay period.
Right.
You got all this damage on your house.
On your house.
You may or may not have the deductible.
Right.
Okay. And now what do you do?
Now what do you do? Or if you evacuated and that $1,000 was what it cost you when you evacuated to stay in a hotel, to rent a car, whatever, to be somewhere
and
else.
You still couldn't do that for 2 weeks.
Right, not for 2 weeks on $1,000.
Yeah, you may be staying
not around here.
Uncle Shirley or somebody like that.
Somebody maybe that's all it cost you. Right, but now what?
Right.
Yeah.
So people are struggling, and so we're depending on faith groups and other folks to help people out, and they've come in and they're doing what we need to do. Right. But it's a long struggle, and we ran distribution centers for a couple of weeks, made sure people had food.
Yeah. Because I know you and I were communicating by email about what's going on and where to have drop-off.
For a long time, we had hot food.
Yeah.
Then we just got to where we were doing canned foods as people were able to get back into the house, and the supermarkets were able to open and everything. Right. But again, the long-term effect is trying to put my house back together again.
If you have a place to stay, if you owned a home and weren't a renter that got displaced.
And I'm really scared that a lot of people are living in unsafe homes, and I say that because I have gone to houses. We finally get to this person's house where we need to do a muck out, and they're actually living there, and I'm looking at black mold
on the wall.
Exactly, and I'm looking at black mold, and I'll tell them something like, you gotta, if we're gonna come in and do the muck out and then treat it, you may have to leave for a minimum of 4 hours, possibly 24 hours if we do the whole house.
Right.
And they're like, well, I don't have anywhere to go.
Right. And how do I leave?
Yeah.
I got to sit here, but now I could end up with asthma, respiratory problems.
So now what do we do? So
it's
it's a struggle.
That's a major struggle.
It's a struggle.
And what's sad is no one's in the media talking now because the name storm has passed.
Oh,
so
we had
it's
another
not news.
Yeah,
And then you got another one now. So let's run to that one.
Right.
And now all the cameras leave and all the folks writing leave and the photographers leave. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, everything's fine. And that's why I keep telling people, no, everything is not fine. That's why I've been coming up the coast and surveying for myself.
And it's not going to be fine for a while.
Yeah, for a while. Because what do you estimate? Do you even have a concept in your mind of how many homes in Wilmington that you might have to do mark-outs to?
I've been focused on Brunswick County.
On Brunswick County. So about how many you think
we have, just from the Brunswick Baptist Association, there's over 240 homes on the list. Yeah. They're not all muck outs. Some of them are tree removals. That's another thing. We're talking about trees.
I heard a lot of them. Yeah, I saw a lot down on the way up.
Normally, it might cost you $600 or $700 to get a tree
taken down.
Well, people have been charged. One guy, the Attorney General, $25,000.
Do what? Wait, did you say 2,500 or 25,000 for one tree?
Yeah, the Attorney General got that.
Yeah, he got him. Good, right? He better get him.
But it's at least $1,000 for trees, and these are some of these trees that went down.
They're massive.
Yeah, they were big because we've had so much rain that
the ground saturated, so the root system.
Everything just went. Everything.
If any of y'all watch Gullah Geechee TV and you remember some of the images from St. Helena Island following Matthew, think that it's the same thing. Okay, we're just north. That's all. We're in North Carolina now, not South Carolina. Think the same thing. If you have never seen tree roots before, when you have saturated ground,
we're talking root balls bigger than us.
Yes, this whole hallway that we're in.
That brings special equipment to
have
even
to deal with that.
Cut up the roots and get them to the curbs where the people can do it. Absolutely. So a lot of our folks live out in the woods. And still
very
stuff.
Rural.
And so in order to get this stuff moved by the county, they got to drag that, be able to get that stuff.
Be able to get it to the county curb. To the road.
Right.
Yep. We had to
do special equipment.
Yeah.
And again, some of these folks coming from out of town, they'll bring their little Tonka toys, as I call them.
Because
their little skid steers.
The little things, and they can pick up stuff.
And bless their hearts, they'll bring them and help out for free and all that. And that's how we're making it right now, is through blessings and prayers and people taking care of one another.
Right. So now the whole time we've been chatting, I know y'all wonder who this is that I'm talking to, right? So go and introduce yourself to the Gullah Geechee TV audience.
My name is Veronica Carter. I live here in the Leland area. I'm a adopted daughter of the town of Navassa, activist on the board of directors of Coastal Federation, and on the DEQ Secretary's Environmental Justice and Equity Board.
Yes, and so Hunter Chillin, we known each other a few years and things like that. So Sister Veronica is one of the people that while the storm was going on, and y'all might have wondered, how did I know what was going on in all these places up and down the coast? I have my folks there, and they can let me know, and we try to stay tuned, you know, with power during these types of situations, because as you're hearing now, you thought the storm was a crisis, but this is the real crisis, is the recovery. Because especially when we're talking about people not being in a financial position to recover from these things, and then if it takes too long before they do a muck out, the possibility of somebody condemning the home because it's saying it's past the point of really where you can inhabit it is another issue. That's why it's so important that immediately after these storms subside, we get in and assess what's going on and try to get resources in quickly, even if that's just real woman and manpower. I mean, because you might not be the person that has the Tonka toy, but you can come with the hands, you know, and help carry things out, or help strip down places, roll up carpet, throw it out.
And if you know how to do that, you can go online for the Brunswick Baptist, North Carolina Baptist Association. You can volunteer, and they'll assign you with a team. We'll get like 2 people, a couple or something that'll come up, and we'll put them with a group of 4, and then put 2 more people with them. Now we got a team of 8, and they work out great together.
Which is
the weekend's done.
And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna make sure we put up the website, but y'all can also email us, and you see the email right there, and we'll get you the details if you want to volunteer. We can't wait till March for our regular Gullah Geechee Volunteer Month for you to do this. This is something that's happening right now. Those storms weren't that long ago, and technically hurricane season's not over yet. Because we're in November.
To the end of the month.
Over. It's to the end of the month. It's after y'all gobble up all that turkey, that it ends. And so technically we're still in it, and we literally and figuratively are in it because we're still dealing with trying to really get our people recovered. And so it's so important that we understand all these nuances, because people always assume, well, don't they have insurance? And they just think, oh, was it FEMA coming? No, they're not Santa Claus, and
FEMA is a last resort. FEMA is a last resort. You can sign up for FEMA, and if you have insurance, FEMA will deny you because they will say they need to know what's going to happen with your insurance. And so once you get your final insurance settlement, minus your deductible, you still got to come out of pocket for that big deductible. Okay, then you can go back in and appeal the FEMA decision. If, let's say, your insurance company only gives you $10,000 and it costs $20,000 to actually do the repairs, you can go in minus your $2,000 or $1,000 deductible and ask FEMA to help you out with the other $8,000 or $9,000. Now, they may tell you, you know what, you need to go to Small Business Administration and get a loan, a low interest loan. Okay?
And now what if you don't have good credit? So you have all that to contend with. And then not to mention, let's say you are a small business owner. One of the things people never think about in the storm is your inventory. What happened to your inventory? You may have lost all of it. So you may have had a mom and pop store, you know, like we say, Lee Corner store and things like that, but then now you don't, because you can't even afford to, one, get back in the building. If you could fix the building, you may not be able to get all the inventory again and purchase it all over again. And so these are all these nuances that the media doesn't tell you, when it's happening, because all they want is the sensationalism. They want to put those stories out to get those clicks. It's clickbait. While we're suffering, these people are making money off of ads and advertisers and how many clicks they get to view it. But then where are they now? They're not here with us now. So we always have to still be self-sufficient. We always got to still rely on each other, especially in rural areas like this, small towns like this, Navassa, Leland, you know, up here in North Kakalaki. For all who say, I never heard those places. If you've been to Wilmington, North Carolina, you would cross the river.
You just passed us.
And you just passed them. You just
Mm-hmm.
passed. If you came one highway, you just passed. If you come another way, you cross the creek. And why I was so concerned and wanted to get up here was not only just because of the hurricanes, to see for myself what was going on, but you know, the last time I was here is why I'm here today. Was because we were doing a follow-up meeting in regard to the superfund site here, and I was happy to hear that Navassa is at least high enough above ground that there was minor flooding, but not major flooding.
It depends on the area. There are houses that were submerged.
Some were.
In Navassa, there's a church, St. Matthew's Church, that was had severe damage. Tree fell down on the roof. There plus some flooding. So there were some areas, because, you know, on the coast, and your business know, our topography is so subtle that you don't notice that you're sitting in like a little bowl until it fills up with water. Exactly. And then it's too late. You know, and so there were several houses
that were in that position, and the church.
And the church and some other stuff. But, you know, it wasn't as bad as, I mean, there was a whole subdivision wiped out in Leland.
Which is right next door. I mean, you're talking about a few miles.
5 miles.
Exactly. And you're right there.
Yeah. So they had some serious issues only because people here don't have the income and the blessings that other areas have. And so just trying to figure out how to rebuild and how to get back on their feet.
Right.
You know, when you lose your drywall and all that other stuff, guess what you've also probably lost? You've lost your clothing.
Right.
Because if it has mold on it, you can't wash it. You gotta toss it out.
Your sheets,
your
curtains,
your curtains,
the carpet, like
your
you said,
bedding, your mattresses, all that stuff all has to be replaced.
Yes.
And so yet more expenses.
More expenses. And that's a long recovery time. It's not like, oh, the storm's going down tomorrow, next week. It's not like that. And remember, we missed the payday. That's right. That's very important. And some missed too.
That's right.
Because here was Hurricane Florence.
And then we took off from Michael.
We took off and then comes Michael. So some people missed 2 paychecks. And then you had some people who were told, well, the apartment complex that we're going to move you out of, we're going to move you 2 hours away from
it was crazy. The apartments shutting down was actually crazy because literally people were getting notes on their door saying they had to be out of the apartment like in 24 hours.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, and so
that is true.
That
was not incorrect report.
So you know, we were getting Facebook posts where somebody's saying, "Hey, anybody's got a pickup truck or something can help somebody move."
What?
You know, everybody was just helping people get their whatever they had,
whatever they could,
and get it to wherever they could go.
Right.
So that was one thing, and two. FEMA, when they were telling people, we'll give you a voucher for a hotel. Well, there are no hotels here.
I was going to say,
there are no hotels. There are no hotels because the FEMA folks are in hotels. The contractors that all
and the media was also in the hotels.
And still, or the contractors and the FEMA folks
are still here.
And the hotels. And so they were saying, well, they may have to travel. They can go to Fayetteville. I'm like, Fayetteville's like 90 minutes away.
Yeah.
They can go to New Bern, it was a 300-mile storm.
Right.
New Bern got hit
as well. Exactly.
And then I had to literally send somebody a picture of 2 cars that were submerged. Those cars were on somebody's driveway because the home, it was a manufactured home. The home was submerged. Right. And you don't have a garage. So your driveway is next door. And I said, look carefully, you'll see the roofs of 2 cars. How do you want them to drive anywhere?
Anywhere to go.
Right. I said, so not only is their house messed up, but now they've lost their 2 cars as well.
that they had. Right.
So, how would you have them get to you 50 miles away or 60 miles away or whatever it is?
Because nobody's bringing buses in. Yeah. Nobody's coming and then actually taking you to the next place. And then we
finally got that.
But initially,
it took fighting. It took literally, just activists on the ground being painful and showing pictures and saying,
absolutely, this is what's going on. Right. And then while y'all were here on the ground, those of us who were in the outer lying areas that were not affected had to communicate with the Black Environmental Management Association so that they could get people in on the ground and get to people like Red Cross and others and give exact coordinates. Because when we're talking about this 300-mile storm, you're talking about more than a 300-mile radius being affected by the storm. So now we're having to say, they're saying, oh, we got stuff in there. No, but where did that stuff go? Like, whose community is it in?
And in so many communities, because it's not, we're here in Brunswick County, New Hanover is where Wilmington is. Right. Pender County got hit really bad. Duplin County got hit. Cumberland County, where Fayetteville is, got hit.
See,
you have the same people that just finished rebuilding from Matthews in the Lumberton area.
Right.
Got hit again. And now they've lost stuff all over again. And so it's not like you can go to anybody nearby
and say, let me get some resources because everybody's scrambling for the same little bit that is coming in, whether it's airdropped, literally, like and some stuff had to be airdropped here and otherwise. And so people, look, y'all think, I know a lot of y'all watch social media stuff daily, by the hour, and some of you believe a lot of it, and then the stuff that you should believe you don't. Okay, so that's why I'm here to do the follow-up so y'all get it. We weren't posting them things, as we say, dry, long, so and things like that. Those weren't storytellings. this is reality for folks, and it's not reality TV. See, Weather Channel has gotten so dramatic that it's almost like watching reality TV. You can't take your eyes off, like people say, watching a car wreck.
Right.
You know, you can't take your eyes off the storm. But this is the real eye we need now. Eyes that are focused, eyes of vision that say, well, look, I do realize that there are all these needs that are here. There's something I can contribute. I watched very carefully that when Sierra Club set up this Act Blue Fund, they told me what would happen. They were like, oh, they're probably going to get a lot of donations the first week, and then the next week it'll be less, and then eventually it'll just trickle off. Exactly. So now it's to the point where the other day it was $3.15. You know, and it's not over. So please, we're encouraging you. You see us tweet, you see us post about donating to these funds. The funds are still needed. It's not because, oh, hurricane season's almost over, you thought it was over. It's not over, because as you just heard, she didn't say they're recovering from Florence. She said people in Lumberton were recovering from Hurricane Matthew. Okay, and now just got hit again by Florence, and don't forget, compounded by Michael. Okay, Florence and Michael came within weeks of each other, and before the water could recede, here was this that they said was going to pour water all over us again. Okay, so we're dealing with that already, and the town is dealing with a Superfund site.
As well as a number of brownfields.
And brownfields.
And the coal ash spill, which y'all probably heard about.
That's what I wanted to know.
Is right across the river from us.
It is.
And that's one of the things they're going to talk about tonight. Is whether or not any of that got into, you know, they did some water sampling and testing to make sure it didn't get into the marshlands around the Superfund site.
Yes.
We had the CAFOs from Duplin County. All of those breached, the dams breached, and all of the hog stuff,
and the
chicken
stuff
that came down the Cape Fear River, which is the river
that runs right out of it.
Right, and so there were actually people who lost their lives because they had a cut or something, and were in flood water.
Infected.
Yeah, we had a guy who passed away. Initially, I guess he was trying to clean up after the flood.
Yeah, and didn't realize.
Yes, got his foot, thought it would be all right, put some peroxide or whatever on it, and then it got worse and worse, and he passed away.
Yeah, see, these are the kind of important things. Like a lot of times we look at what happens in other countries, and some of us think about what happens after flooding in other countries, but we don't think about it right here. And so Hunter Children ain't no different. A flood is a flood. And so you have mosquitoes.
Oh gosh.
You have.
We had killer mosquitoes.
Yeah, monster mosquitoes, mutant mosquitoes.
Never seen mosquitoes that big in my life.
Okay.
I've been to Sub-Saharan Africa.
Okay, all right. And we beat them this time. Oh my goodness, I was glad it was cool today because I was hoping they wouldn't.
No, they kind of. We had a cold day or two.
So it kind of took lowered the population just in time for me to get hit. And so that's a good thing. And so we pray they die off, really. But then we don't want the people dying off. But after the aftermath of the storm, that's the part nobody reports on. They don't tell you about the people who get the cuts and then get infected and then pass away because they're not considered direct victims of the storm. They tell you about who might have been out in the middle of the storm trying to pull a tree off their roof while the storm was still here and they fell and then they passed or something like that. But they don't tell you about all these subtle nuances, how it totals up really. And then the tragedy behind that of the mental anguish that people go through when you can't find a way out of this. That you don't have the money, like you said, to repair the home. You're thinking now of, well, I'm scared to touch something because I heard about this man. What'll happen to me if I clean up? So all of that has to do with also, people talk about resilience, but having to be resilient people, even spiritually and mentally, to withstand the storm and to come back from it once again. But that always helps on that faith community, and the rest of your people come together and they help you, and they help you to hold on just a little while longer and let you know everything going to be all right. So we going to go inside, and y'all going to Yeti some of this. Your meeting when we come for Yeti too about what's been going on with the Superfund site that I've been letting y'all know about online. So we're going to get that update. But I'm definitely glad that Sister Veronica was right here at the beginning, and that we were able to talk about this and how you can come and you can help. All right, so don't say, well, I don't have much to give, because we just told you what you can do, and we gonna hold you to it too. All right, so thank you Hunter Chillin. Tune in a little while longer and Yeti what going on right here in Brunswick County in North Kakalaki.